Good evening, everyone. The City of Muskegon City Commission meeting for September 25th, 2012 is now called to order. I'd like to invite up Mr. George Monroe from Evanston Avenue Baptist Church to lead us in prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Monroe?
Shall we pray? Our dear Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for this opportunity that we can gather here, Lord. We thank you for our mayor and our manager and our commissioners, Lord, that you would undertake with them and protect them at all times, Lord. And Lord, be the decisions that are made here, Lord. Just continue to watch over and care for each and every one of us. We'll give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Monroe. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnquist?
Here.
Commissioner Markowski? Here. Mayor Gowron?
Here.
Commissioner Hood?
Here.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Here.
Commissioner German?
Here.
Commissioner Waringo?
Here.
We're all accounted for?
Yes.
Groovy. May we have the consent agenda, Madam Clerk?
Approval of minutes, City Clerk. Summary request to approve minutes of the September 10th Commission Work Session meeting and the September 11th City Commission meeting. Staff recommendation, approval of the minutes. Youth Basketball League and Open Gym Proposal, Muskegon Public Schools, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. The City of Muskegon has contracted with the Muskegon Public Schools for the management of the Youth Basketball League and Open Gym since 2010. The program has been successful and the schools would like to manage the program for the 2012-2013 school year. The Commission is requested to approve the proposal and authorize staff to enter into an agreement with the schools for oversight of the basketball program and the Open Gym program. Staff recommendation to approve the Youth Basketball League and Open Gym proposal and authorize staff to enter into a formal agreement with the schools. Consideration of bids for City Hall parking lots, Jefferson Street, and Department of Public Works lot, engineering. Summary request. Award the construction contract to repave the city parking lots for the employees' visitor side, Muskegon Police Department, and Department of Public Works lots to Asphalt Paving Incorporated out of Muskegon, Michigan. Asphalt Paving is the lowest responsible bidder for this project with a total bid price of $148,194.12. Staff recommendation, award the contract to Asphalt Paving. Masonry services for 1500 Leahy House repairs, Community Neighborhood Services. Summary request. To accept the bid by the only proposal received, Andy Hofstra, 6420 Lake Harbor Road in Muskegon, Michigan, for the structural repairs needed for the rehabilitation of 1500 Leahy Street. The home will be rehabilitated with NSP 1 funds, and at completion, the home will be sold to a qualified buyer with income up to 120% AMI. Staff recommendation to approve the request.
Commissioners, you've heard the consent agenda as presented. Are there any items that you would like to have removed for further discussion before we vote? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Vice Mayor?
Seeing none, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second. Oh.
I'll flip.
Go ahead.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Spataro and seconded by Commissioner German to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public hearings.
Request for exemption of new personal property, PA 328, Alloy Resources Corporation, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 328 of 1998, as amended, Alloy Resources Corporation, 2281 Port City Boulevard, has requested an exemption of new personal property. The company plans on investing $3,100,000 in machinery and equipment and is seeking a 12-year exemption on personal property. The exemption would include all new personal property investments during the duration of the exemption. Staff recommendation, approval of the exemption of new personal property for a duration of 12 years.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, or good morning. Good evening, Mike. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Port City Group is the parent company to all the companies seeking an abatement tonight. There will be 4 abatements for the 3 different companies, which are all located in the Port City Industrial Park. We have to have a public hearing for each abatement, but I can talk a little bit about the project as a whole right now. There will be $11 million in investment between the 3 businesses, and they will create up to 65 jobs within the next 2 years. They have met with DeWanna Thompson, who couldn't be here tonight, but they do have their equal opportunity employment plans in place. And we have John Essex and Dale Kaiser here from Port City Group.
Very good. Mr. Essex and Mr. Kaiser, would you like to take an opportunity perhaps to come up if there's any additional information you'd like to give to the commission, or get ready to be grilled, or whatever may occur? So, John, yeah, just take the podium. If you give your name and your address just to be read into the record, I'd appreciate that, sir.
My name is Bruce John Essex Jr., actually, 1985 East Laketon Avenue. It's nice to be in front of you. It's nice to be bringing a project with good news and job creation and investment and everything in Muskegon. For those of you who are not familiar with our company, we started out as Port City Diecast in 1980, located on Laketon. Since that time, we have grown to a company of 8 different individual companies, 7 of which are located in the city of Muskegon. We currently employ about 450 employees in the city of Muskegon, which I think makes us the largest privately held manufacturer in Muskegon now. Compared to the days when I grew up here and it was the big foundry, so I guess we're the big foundry now. But what we're doing right now, and just to give you a little bit of background, in 08 and 09, as everybody knows, our business, as well as most, went through a tremendously difficult time. Our primary business is automotive related, and during that period of time was definitely the most difficult in my career. I've been running Port City since 1997. Purchased most of the shares of the company in 2001. And we were able to keep most of our people working. Some of them we had to lay off. The nice thing was 6 months later we had everybody back, plus some. We went from 365 employees at the end of 2008 to 170 by June of 2009 to 450 today. So our biggest problem has been able to make sure that we provide the training and get everybody up to speed as we add team members. And it's been a lot of fun riding up. Wasn't much fun riding down, but it was certainly a blessing, as I like to look at it. These projects, I'll just give you an overview of all 3. After we came out of this recession, we booked so much business, we booked more than we can handle. And that was kind of by design because we never wanted to be there again. And in the process, have purchased the old Beckert Wire facility that's been vacated for about 5.5 years in the industrial park. I think I actually closed on that in May, but we were actually working in there and a lot earlier than that. Our Alloy Resources Corporation, which provides all of our raw material, primarily aluminum, which is what we make our castings out of, is actually a recycling operation. We bring in scrap aluminum and we turn it into new aluminum for our casting process. This investment will allow us to do 100% of all of our requirements. Currently we purchase about 60% of our needs outside of the area. Now everything will be produced in the industrial park. So with that investment is a $500,000 pollution control system, in addition to the $700,000 system we have there now. Only as overkill. We want to make sure that any emissions coming out of there we can more than adequately handle. We'll actually have capacity to handle about double the volume of melting that we'll be doing. Just want to make sure we're safe. Also, our with the Beckert facility is going to be a 100,000 square foot aluminum die casting plant, very similar to what we have in our Norton Shores facility and our Muskegon Castings facility, which I'll cover in a second. That will eventually employ 55 full-time employees. The numbers we're putting out are relatively conservative. They always have been. As Brian knows, when we've done this before, we'll say we're going to hire 35 and we hire 100. And I want to make sure we're conservative so we don't miss the mark and overstate what the opportunity is. But we truly know that based on the model that we've been able to take forward in the past, we feel pretty confident we're going to fill those jobs pretty darn fast. So, in fact, we're a little ahead of schedule in terms of what we've already committed, so it's a good thing. So, and then our Muskegon Castings facility, which is on Sheridan, across from the prison, we have added an addition to that facility to bring two buildings together. It adds about 30% to our square footage, and it allows us, from a capacity standpoint, to grow about 30% in that facility. Most of the business that we've secured for these have been related to energy-efficient products, both from the automotive perspective and from our own production perspective. We have started we are an OEM lighting manufacturer now, making LED products. So we're actually doing that in conjunction with a company called Toyota Tsusho, which is the trading arm for Toyota Motor. We are a supplier directly to Toyota Motor, and which is how we picked up this opportunity. So we'll be in full-blown production there. January is what our anticipated timing is. Obviously, the recycling operation, that doesn't need any more explanation, but the products that we'll be producing out of the old Beckert facility are manifolds that go on 6-cylinder and 8-cylinder engines that reduce your fuel consumption by shutting that engine down to a 4-cylinder engine. So most of your large GM vehicles now have a V8 that is a big gas guzzler, but when you get on the highway, it shuts down to a 4-cylinder and you'd never even know it. It's seamless. The next generation of all those products, we've been doing similar products for about 6 years. This is the next generation, and it will provide about $15 million in annual revenue, and out of that, 55 people probably employ about 40 of those people. So trying to be a little conservative on what we're telling you in terms of how many people we're going to bring in, but it's pretty exciting stuff, and especially from where we were 3 or 4 years ago. It's a nice thing, and I guess for me personally, as you know, as Sue knows, I grew up in Muskegon. We were offered some pretty lucrative proposals to go elsewhere in the state of Indiana, and South Bend gave us some rather insane, which I felt were insane. They were great for me, but proposals that, this is our home, and this is where we want to stay. We've been very fortunate. We've been able to grow and be successful with our team all coming primarily from Muskegon County, and we'd like to keep it that way. So I guess that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Any questions from the commission?
I have a question. The jobs that you're looking to fill in the next coming months or years, are those positions that you feel we have a workforce to fill in Muskegon County?
Yeah, we do. It's been a little difficult, actually. You would think after the meltdown of '09 that it would be easy to fill a lot of those positions. A lot of these newer positions are going to be more middle technical level positions. Tool and die will be a lot of it, maintenance, process engineering. There'll still be quite a few entry-level positions as well, but when everything started to come back and we realized that we were bringing in a lot of people that weren't necessarily, it wasn't that they weren't qualified, they didn't have the specific training that we needed, so we actually started our own school, so to speak, for new employees as well as continuing education for a lot of our workforce. So for the ones that don't have all the skill sets that we need to bring in, we'll provide them with that. And actually that's on site now at the Beckert facility because there's a whole lot of empty offices there, so we were able to create a school classroom there. We have a full-time instructor on staff that does nothing but employee training. So the majority of those jobs we hope to fill from Muskegon County. We don't typically go outside very often to bring people. I mean, my entire management team grew up with me. They started out on the floor working as machine operators and supervisors, and now they're supposed to be in charge. I guess that's what they tell me. But and we'll try to keep that same momentum in terms of who we bring into our organization.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Commissioner?
Those jobs that you train, are those considered entry-level jobs also, or no?
There'll be a mix of both. Probably out of the 65, a third of those will be more technical, there'll be, a lot of them will be people who've been brought up from within throughout the rest of the company, Port City Castings, Muskegon Castings. Any promotional opportunities we always give to our current base first, and then we'll bring from the outside. 2/3 of those will be entry-level positions that'll go through that training program, and then the other third will be more middle technical people who typically would have that skill set. Even if they have 75% of it, we can at least on site give them the rest of the skills that they need.
Commissioner?
I'd just like to say congratulations and good job with your business and keeping jobs here in Muskegon, and giving Muskegon County and the kids the opportunity to get jobs here, so they don't have to look elsewhere. So that's definitely a big plus. So thank you.
It's reciprocal. I mean, your professional staff here did a fantastic job helping us try to get all these pieces of the puzzle together. So it's really appreciated from this end as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to
So we
hear.
wish you all good luck, and I'm glad that you will not be becoming a Hoosier, and I promise I will never refer to you as Junior.
That's good. My blood grows green and white, so there's no leaving Michigan.
Thank you, John. Thank you. As this is a public hearing, we'll entertain any questions or input from the public, and if you do have questions, please approach the podium when recognized. If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on this item A.
So moved.
And how about, we can do that both, close the public hearing and approve the exemption for a new personal property exemption.
Exactly what I meant to do.
You did? Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Waringo and seconded by Commissioner Hood to close the public hearing and approve an exemption of new personal property for a duration of 12 years for Alloy Resources Corporation. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gowron.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. And we have item B, please.
Request for exemption of new personal property, PA 328, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 328 of 1998 as amended, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, 2121 Latimer Drive, has requested an exemption of new personal property. The company plans on investing $7 million in machinery and equipment and is seeking a 12-year exemption on personal property. The exemption would include all new personal property investments during the duration of the exemption. Staff recommendation, approval of the exemption of new personal property for a duration of 12 years.
John, did you want to come back up and repeat everything that you told us the first time around?
If I have to do it verbatim, it's going to be tough.
Okay. Commissioners, you probably asked all your questions. I'll open up any public input or questions. If not, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing and approve the exemption for a new personal property for a duration of 12 years for Engineered Aluminum Casting Incorporated.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hood and seconded by Commissioner German to approve the exemption of a new personal property for a duration of 12 years for Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item C, please.
Request for an industrial facilities exemption certificate, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 188 of 1974, as amended, Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, 2121 Latimer Drive, has requested the issuance of an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate. The total capital investment will be $738,000 in real property and will create 2 jobs. This qualifies them for a tax abatement of 12 years. Staff recommendation, approval of the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property.
Thank you. Any public input or comment? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve a resolution granting an industrial facilities tax or facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated, and close the public hearing.
Did you get that motion?
Not yet.
Oh, I so moved.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Wieringo, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro. I almost said my last name. To approve the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Engineered Aluminum Castings Incorporated. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Turnquist?
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Wieringo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item D, please.
Request for an industrial facilities exemption certificate, Muskegon Castings Corporation, Planning Economic Development. Summary request. Pursuant to Public Act 198 of 1974, as amended, Muskegon Castings Corporation, 2323 South Sheridan Road, has requested the issuance of an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate. The total capital investment will be $501,000 in real property and will create 10 jobs. This qualifies them for a tax abatement of 12 years. Staff recommendation, approval of the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property.
Is there any member of the public that would like to address this item or give input? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Muskegon Castings Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Wieringo, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro, to approve the resolution granting an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a term of 12 years for real property for Muskegon Castings Incorporated. Any discussion?
I'd like to ask Mike just one question. 12 years, that's a standard time frame for the exemption?
Yeah, for the INTs, that's standard for real property.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Just one question also. Those 10 jobs that's going to be created, are those going to be like the high-tech jobs that you were talking about with the contracts with the Toyota company?
Probably a mix of both, probably 30%. That's typically the mix that we have versus what I look at as our direct labor team and our indirect, which would be more the technical process engineering. So probably 3 to 4 of that level, skill level, and then 6 of the entry level where it was the right training on site.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Commissioners? If not, roll call, please.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Wieringo?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist?
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Are we all done? Can we send John and Dale on their way to get things going?
Thank you again. I really appreciate the support. It's two extremes. Really, the city has been a wonderful place to grow this business. It doesn't feel like it's been 15 years that we're doing this, but it's been fun all the time. But it's getting a lot more fun now. I appreciate all the help to make this happen.
Well, best of luck and thank you for your investment. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Much success.
We do have new business, and I'm going to preface this with the fact that this presentation for this membership dues, we had not placed it in the budget, and we had considered that we would not be participating any longer. However, as the dues came in, request came in the mail, we would consider it. So, Madam Clerk.
2013 National League of Cities membership dues, City Clerk. Summary request. The 2013 National League of Cities membership renewal notice has been received. Staff recommendation, none.
Now the amount of the $3,258. We Vice Mayor.
Thanks. Well, we discussed this in the budgeting process, and while I have been an advocate for being a member of this organization, I believe we still get benefits through our membership in the Michigan Municipal League, which is also connected to the National League of Cities. So, you know, we all know the fiscal reality. It's not a lot of money, but I think we have to cut this one. And so I would move that we not spend the money to pay the membership dues for the National League of Cities for 2013.
I would support that motion.
Okay.
Could you clarify to not do it?
To not.
Correct.
Okay,
So a
I
yes
just wanted to
vote
be
is
sure I
we will
heard you
not.
correctly.
Correct. Just one clarification, do we have to send any kind of notice to them or anything, or, I mean, how?
I think the clerk will correspond with them.
Okay. So it has
We
been
don't want to
moved.
burn bridges, but, yeah.
Right. It's been moved by Vice Mayor Spataro and seconded by Commissioner Turnquist, not to renew our membership in the 2013 National League of Cities. Is that clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay. For 2013. Any discussion? Commissioner?
Did I hear you say that we get similar services from another organization?
Well, we get a high degree of service through our participation in the Michigan Municipal League.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Commissioner?
Do we have someone that attends meetings, if they have meetings, that we can?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, well, no, we wouldn't.
Well, sounds like we were a member up until now.
Right.
Kathy
So,
Brubaker Clark was, wouldn't it?
No.
Our Ward 2 Commissioner.
Former Commissioner
attended
Shepard would go.
the annual conference.
Any other discussion or remarks? If not, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist?
yes.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Is there any other business to be brought by any of the commission? If not, I will now open up to public participation. Mr. Nye, you've made a request? And you're speaking on behalf of Occupy.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And just your name and your address.
Roger Nye, 1495 Westwood Circle, Norton Shores. Good evening. Occupy Muskegon was initiated in mid-October of last year, inspired by and in solidarity with the Occupy Wall Street movement in New York City. If you think of us as a scruffy bunch of unemployed hippie 20-somethings, turn off Fox News, please, and think again. Our average age, I would reckon, is somewhere around 55. I myself have just reached Medicare age. Most of us are retired and or employed, though maybe not as employed as we'd like to be. A majority of us have college degrees, and some of us have advanced degrees. We've always been a nonviolent, peaceful group working by consensus. We presently consist of about a dozen highly motivated and committed individuals. We are essentially self-funded and totally self-governed and independent. Unlike Occupy Wall Street, we have never engaged in confrontation with police or attempted to occupy any public park or building. Instead, we have adopted a strategy of speaking truth to power. We have attended public meetings throughout this county. We have also peacefully conducted actions within the limitation of the law to protest the emergency manager law, the activities of outlaw bankers, and the degradation of our environment. We are not going away, and we will continue to speak out against all attempts to stifle democracy at this trying time in our nation's history. The Occupy movement will not be going away either, as long as the grievances that inspired it continue to erupt. Muskegon is, in a way, a poster child for the challenged American post-industrial city, and must deal with many of the issues that face much larger municipalities. A city with problems is not necessarily a bad place to live. It can be an energizing experience to see how people deal with the challenges facing our society and try to make new beginnings. The fate of the former Sappy paper mill site is one of the issues that keeps us returning to the meetings of the City Commission. But another issue is the trouble ordinary citizens have in addressing the Commission. To be fair, we have found this to be a problem at the County Commission as well, and at a few of the townships in this county. A meeting time inconvenient for many of our brightest and best citizens who must work in Grand Rapids, the general 3-minute limitation on public comment, and the presence of 2 armed police officers at Commission meetings has, in the opinion of many of us, a chilling effect on free speech. In the future, you can expect to see us here often and early. We'll be speaking out as usual, and we'll be observing and video recording you as we are entitled to do under the Michigan Open Meetings Act. We will, to the best of our ability, be posting these videos on social media and promoting the City Commission and County Commission as examples of American democracy in action. Please remember then that the whole world is, or at least may be, watching. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Knack.
Thank you.
Karen Benerick?
Hello, my name is Karen Bednarek at 3302 Arlington Avenue, and I have been a property owner and a taxpayer in the city of Muskegon and have loved the city since I moved here 31 years ago. And that's, the people who come here to speak out don't do it because we don't have anything else to do, that we need these kinds of power trips, but we do it because we care about the city and the direction that it's going in, and we feel as though public input does help shape positive results. I'm just going to speak because last night, and I realize this has been happening repeatedly since the beginning of the demolition of the Sappy site, is that I'll be awakened. We like to sleep with our windows all open, even when it's cold, in the middle of the night, and my throat is constricted, and my eyes are running, and I'm thinking, oh, do I have like a big allergy attack, or what's going on? But then when I get up in the morning and I look at which way the boats are going, they're directed towards the Sappy site, and I don't know if it's the particulates coming off the site, but definitely it is a health concern that can't be ignored because we have high rates of respiratory RSV and asthma, renal failure, and cancer in this area, and we are not sure what the particulates cause, and we're all entitled to enjoy our property and not have to worry about breathing the air as having a detrimental effect on our health. And I've been to quite a few meetings lately, and people keep talking about the lake shore as our crowning jewel, and certainly we are to be commended for having access all along our lake shore in the city of Muskegon, that the public has access, even if you're from Twin Lake, even if you're from Ravenna, you can come to our lake shore and you don't have to pay anything. But I'm just wondering if people, when we're talking about that, drawing tourism, drawing industry, we know that clean industry with good jobs has, like these gentlemen spoke of, the pick of the crop in terms of places to locate because everybody wants them in their area. They're offering them all kinds of tax incentives. And, you helped along with your tax abatements today. But I'm just wondering if this is the picture that you want visitors to get when they come over the Cross Lake Ferry, because as Mr. Melching had said, his plan all along has been to locate a scrapyard, and this is the Padnos scrapyard, which has been in operation for many, many years. Someone gave me these pictures, and as people say, a picture tells 1,000 words. So I just would like you to look at these and just let them sink into your consciousness in terms of your decision-making as you contemplate decisions regarding the lakeshore and specifically Sappy. The first one is Pat knows, the rest of them are our own site. And then at the end of the little questionnaire that I got, it said, well, who have you contacted about this issue? And of course, I probably have called most of you at different times. But I remember when Mayor Warmington was here, he was saying, well, I can see that this is a big concern, and, you know, I don't know who he said, maybe to Brian, assign a city staff person. And so when I did try to contact a city staff person, it was Don Lebrez, who is kind of an already overworked electrical inspector who doesn't have a broad environmental background in terms of remediation and demolition. But since that department is being dismantled, I would like to know whom I would contact as, you know, your directive on the bottom of the speaking form suggests, now that the inspections department is no longer operational. And I guess I also have heard from people in the community that they've been awakened by what they feel is probably a shredder. And what I understood from talking to the people at DEQ was that Mr. Melching was not supposed to bring a shredder on site until the DEQ had characterized the pollutants, or it would put their ability to apply for remediation funds through the state and through the federal government. So I don't know if anyone here knows if there is a shredder, but people are talking about being awakened and shaken because people in the Holland area say a shredder, which is part of a scrapping operation, is very, very noisy as well as very reverberating in terms of just shaking the whole area. So I don't know if anybody has that information, if there has been a shredder brought on site. And as they're demolishing things, I'm seeing new things, and I think, well, is that the shredder? Because I heard it was around.
I was there on Friday. I did not see it. There was not a shredder. And as far as the contact individual, as far as inspections and whatnot, Chief Lewis would be in that position.
Okay, Chief Lewis.
As a conduit. But remember, anything, even if we do allow a demolition or whatnot, let's go back to the smokestack. Mm-hmm. Even though we said, yeah, it's okay for it to come down, but only on condition of, you know, the DEQ giving the project their approval and whatnot. So those super agencies above and beyond the city of Muskegon are riding herd on that, and they're the environmental experts. So, you know, ultimately those answers will come from them.
Hopefully they'll be able to answer the question of what actually is the composition of the particulate.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Commissioner?
Sharon, we've had the privilege to see an article that's coming out this weekend. It's an interview with Mr. Melching that was done by Dave Alexander, and there is a lot of good news in the question and answer time that should make you feel much more comfortable with what's going on. I encourage you to read it.
Well, it is goldenrod and raid week season, so.
Well, I never have got allergies. It can hit you at any time.
Are there any other members of the public? Ma'am, please.
I'm Jean Nelson. I live at 2218 Harrison, right up the hill from the mill. And if there's not a shredder down there, I'd like to know what that noise is. It's horrendous. I'm not kidding. And it shakes the light over my table. And you can feel the ground my dog wants off of it. Now, if that's not a shredder down there, I'd like to know what it is. There are two new outfits down there. One is a red one way on the back, and the other one is a round one up by the tower. The noise is terrible, and it's ripping metal. You know it. You know how your food chopper sounds when you put in carrots or whatever's heavy. Imagine that's metal and magnify it.
What time of morning is this?
This was 8 o'clock. Now my neighbor works.
Last night or in the morning?
Oh, this was last Friday.
I probably have an idea what that is. Jackhammer.
No. I know a jackhammer.
Okay, well, that's.
I know the sound.
They're
nothing
awfully
like
big
it.
pieces. Well, it's not like
this is a
one
ripping.
guy jackhammer. No.
This is a ripping. You can hear it.
Well, as they're going through, you know, we can attempt to find out some more. But as far as we know, there's no shredder there at this point. There's a lot of heavy equipment ripping through metal.
Yeah, we watch it because
Right.
we're right there.
Right, and I watch it
You
too,
know, and
so-
my neighbor who lives in back, he lives in the old Chase Mansion. He
Yeah.
works second shift,
Mhm.
and he was been working 12 hours, so he went to bed, and he was literally almost thrown out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning by that noise. His house was shaking.
Right.
He thought a tornado was coming. Now, that's just not normal demolition, because we sit out there right across the street and listen to them ripping the buildings, and it's not that.
Well, we'll...
So if, other than to get my camcorder out, and so you can hear the sound recording when it's happening, I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay.
So I think you should look into it. And I noticed that there is a pile of shredded metal.
Yes, there.
Back by the coat, or the vote slip.
Mhm.
And that's all ready for, they're so sure they'll get their docs.
Right.
But that is shredded metal that's piled up back there. And you can see it if you go on LaRue.
I was there Friday.
at the
I
top.
was right by the pile.
You must have seen the shredded metal.
Right, I saw the metal, but
Yeah,
no shredder.
So, how did that metal get so small?
They rip it.
No.
They have shears and they have cutters.
I see that, but
Right.
there has to be a shredder. That horrendous noise.
Right. Well, as of Friday, there wasn't, okay?
Yeah.
I was there personally.
Well, this was before last Friday. I
Okay.
have heard it. So,
All right, but
and I'm not alone. But my neighbors are, a lot of them are retired.
They are.
They
And-
don't
and
like
it's a
to
it's a
argue.
temporary...
We are a quiet neighborhood.
Right.
Even with the mill,
Right.
they were good neighbors with S.D. Warren. Sappy, not so much. But S.D. Warren, they were good neighbors, and everybody just got along. But this is different.
But it'll be temporary.
I hope.
It's a demo site. It'll
Yeah,
be temporary.
but we're talking about going on and keeping it always a recycling place.
Well, hopefully
You
not.
know,
But,
can't have that. I don't think you'd want it in your neighborhood, and I don't think you'd want it while you're, having your morning coffee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the, or input from the audience? One more.
Okay, well,
I have to have you come back up here just so we can get you on tape.
Okay, well, on the note, it's temporary, so what Melching said when he was here, that it was going to be a permanent scrapping operation.
I was referring to the demo.
Oh, and then the other thing is that I heard that he was going to be that he got another contract for demolishing another building in the Muskegon area that was going to be a huge scrapping operation, and that was going to go to the site as well. So you don't know about that?
No.
Do you have to approve it? Does he have to get permits for that?
Not for that type of operation.
Just remember that there is a public hearing on Monday at 6 o'clock for a Q&A session, and then 7 o'clock for the formal DEQ. It's not technically a hearing, it's to hear comments. And that would be an opportunity for people who wish to comment or learn more about what's going on at that site, and have DEQ members present to discuss with them what's going on. And also keep in mind that what they're talking about doing is using an existing boat slip to modernize it so they can use it to ship smaller shipments off, or larger shipments off by barge, as opposed to smaller shipments by truck through Lakeside. So, I mean, you might really want to think about whether or not shipping material off that site, including just what's already there and being demolished, through Lakeside as opposed to off by boat. I mean, that's kind of the choice that's being faced. So that's for people to decide, and if they wish to come, that will be here Monday, October 1st, Q&A session at 6. The hearing for comments will be at 7.
Thank you. You can. I'll give you time for your name and what you're doing, but not enough time for your life philosophy.
Mark Molitor, 1786 Beach Street. I just wanted to introduce myself to the board. I am the Republican candidate for County Commissioner for District 2. I've met a handful of you, but not everybody. I'll be happy to stick around afterwards for any question and answers that you might have. So
You look
thank
just like this guy I saw last night at the Nims Neighborhood Association meeting.
Curious.
Hey, thanks for coming out. Any other input from the public? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
If there's nothing, nothing else, I motion to adjourn.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hood, seconded by Vice Mayor Spataro to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree with that? Well, then let's boogie.
Let's vote.
Is that going to be in the minutes?
Oh, you do?
That's why I don't get
That's boogie, that really shows his age.
Right.
Hey.
What did you say?
You wanted to object.
Oh.